All right, so I do want to tell you a little bit about how the points are broken up. Now, I know that most likely your test tomorrow is going to be on the Edulastic program, just like your quiz was. If I'm able to get it on there today, because I have to type it in. If not, it will be on paper. So if it is on paper, I do want to explain the points values. These numbers here are in order of the questions. So question 1 is worth 2 points, question 2 is worth 2 points, question 3 is worth 2 points, and question 4 is worth 3 points. We do that as we make the test to help us with our grading to make sure that we have it split up the way we need to. Obviously, the more points it's worth, the more difficult the problem probably is. Okay? All right, so find each product. I'm going to use distributive property. 3p times 3p gives me what? 9p squared. And then 3p times 5 gives me what? Negative 15p. And 5p times 3 gives me positive 15p. And then 5p times negative, 5 times negative 5 is? Negative 25. If I combine like terms, what happens? Those guys cancel out, and I'm left with 9p squared minus 25. One thing that's important is make sure your answer is in standard form. Doesn't say so in the directions, but that's an expectation all year long, is that answers are in standard form. Okay? Questions about that one? Number 2, same thing. I'm going to use the multiplication using the distributive method. So 8x times 3x is 24x squared. Again, you can use the box method. That's totally fine. I'm just too lazy to draw the box. 8x times 4, 32x. Negative 5 times 3x, negative 15x. And negative 5 times positive 4, negative 20. So combining like terms, I'm still going to have 24x squared first. 32x minus 15x. What does that give me? Plus 17x. And then minus 20. Questions there? Most everybody got those guys right. All right, number 3. 2b plus 7 squared. What happens when we have something squared? You what? Write it twice, right? So it's 2b plus 7 times 2b plus 7. So 2b times 2b is 4b squared. 2b times 7, 14b. 7 times 2b, 14b. And 7 times 7. So again, combining those like terms, I have 4b squared plus 28b plus 49. We good there? Okay. X times 8x squared, 8x cubed. X times 2x, 2x squared. X times negative 1, negative x. 4 times 8x squared. Why did I write it right there? Because they're like terms. It's going to help me combine them in a little bit. 4 times 2x and 4 times negative 1. So in standard form, I have 8x to the third plus what? 34x squared plus 7x minus 4. Questions there? All right. Factoring. Most of these ones went okay except number 9. Number 9, a lot of groups missed. Let's start with number 5. What do I notice first about number 5? Do you notice anything? I can take out a 3. If I take out a 3, what am I left with? And what do I have here? Difference of squares. So I'm going to have the 3 out in front, and then this factors into 5r and 3, 5r and 3, make 1 a plus, 1 a minus. Yeah? I think most groups got that one. All right, what about this guy? Do they have anything in common that I can take out? So what do I need to do? snowflake or super X. On the top, I'm going to have 9 times 16. What is 9 times 16? 9 times 16, 144. And a 24 on the bottom. I think it's 12 and 12, yeah? Okay. How do I split up the, let's see, I have 9 and 9, and A. Where does the B go? With the 12s. Okay. Does 9A over 12B reduce?
Yes.
I can divide by 3, and I get 3A over 4B, yeah? And this is the exact same, 3A over 4B. So how do I expect to see your answer? 3A plus 4B squared. So? Pretty easy so far, yeah? Okay. Next one, 4 terms. Do they have anything in common? Okay, so what method do I need to use? Split it. That's called grouping, right? What do the first 2 terms have in common? 8p squared. What's left inside? 5p plus 7. Then I bring down the middle sign. And what do these 2 terms have in common? And what's left inside? 5p plus 7. And so since I have 5p plus 7 written twice, that's one of my parentheses. And if you don't understand why it's not 2 of my parentheses, go watch the video on grouping. And then what's my other parentheses? 8p squared plus 5. Does it matter if you write the 8p squared parentheses before the 5p plus 7?
No.
Doesn't matter as long as your 2 parentheses are the same as my 2 parentheses. Okay. Number 8, what have I got here? Sum of cubes. I guarantee you there's at least one on the test tomorrow, sum or difference. So let's see, something to the third plus something to the third, and I used different colors when I taught this, didn't I? Let's see if I can make this any easier with the different colors. Okay, so what to the third gives me 64x cubed? 4x. And what to the third gives me 125y to the third? 5y. Do those colors look any different? They look fairly similar. What can I do? Maybe I'll make one of them green. How about that? That'll look different. We'll make the 5y green. A little better. Okay, so I know that it's going to come into a small parentheses and a large parentheses. Yes? And I know my SOAP thing about the signs, right? First parentheses has the same. Next one has the opposite. And the last one is always positive. Okay? All right, so what do I do first? I have these things right here. 4x and then 5y. Next one, I square the 4x, which means I have to square the 4 and the x. That gives me 16x squared. Next one, I multiply both of these. What's 4x times 5y? 20xy. Sorry, it's squished in there. And then lastly, I square this, which means I square the 5 and the y. 25y squared. Any questions there? Okay. Number 9, several groups lost 3 points on number 9, unfortunately. Do they have anything in common, first of all? 3x. If I take out a 3x, what's left inside? Minus 17x squared plus 4. Okay, so I know in my answer, I have a 3x first. This right here, what method am I going to use? Snowflake or super X. 4 times 4 is 16. Negative 17 on the bottom. By the way, this wasn't an x squared, so how do I know that I can use the super X?
Because you can split it and make it.
Because this cut in half is that. As long as we have that pattern, we have something that's in, we say, in quadratic form. Okay? What are my 2 numbers that multiply to get 16 and add to get negative 17? Negative 16 and negative 1. On the top, I put a 4 and a 4, and what do? I break up x to the 4th into x squared and x squared. So I have 4x squared. Nope, that's not right. I have x squared minus 4, right? X squared, let me write that here so it's a little bit nicer. X squared minus 4, and what do I have here? 4x squared minus 1. Now, why didn't I write that on my answer line? I have a difference of squares here, right? What does that break down into? X plus 2, x minus 2. And what about here? Also a difference of squares. 2x plus 1, 2x minus 1. So that one was pretty ugly, but it factors into this whole thing right there. Crazy, huh? All right, any questions about the front side? We good? You gonna ace that part tomorrow? Hopefully. I think the back side was actually easier. All right, it does say use long division, so I do need to see long division. Let's see, what goes outside my little division house? 3x minus 9. And inside would be the, do I have any placeholders that I need?
Yes.
Where? Plus 0x to the third, right? Plus 6x squared plus 219x minus 2. Yeah? Okay. 3x times what gives me 9x to the fourth? 3x cubed. And now what do I do with the 3x cubed? So 3x cubed times 3x is 9x to the fourth. That's good. Those two are supposed to match. 3x to the third times negative 9, negative 27x cubed. Now what do I do? Change the signs. This becomes a minus, that becomes a plus. And I have 27x cubed, and I bring down the next term. Next round. 3x times what is 27x cubed? 9x squared. Now what do I do with the 9x squared? Distribute. 9x squared times 3x is 27x squared. 9x squared times negative 9 is negative 81x squared. What next?
27x cubed.
Oh, thank you. It is x cubed. What do I do next? So this becomes a minus, that becomes a plus. 6x squared plus 81x squared. 87x squared, and bring down my next term, which is plus 219x. Okay, at this point, I don't know what 3 times gets me 87. So 87 divided by 3, 29. So I have plus 29x. That's going to give me 87x squared. And then 29 times negative 9 would be negative 261. And now what do I do? Change the signs. Were some of you freaking out in your groups that these numbers were getting big? So let's see, plus 219 is 480x, and then bring down the minus 2. All right, last one. 160, yeah? Oh, I'm off the screen. 160 times 3 is 480x. 160 times 9, 1440. Now what do I do? Change the signs. And 480 minus 480 is 0. Negative 2, that's a...
Wait, negative 9 times 160 is negative.
Say that one more time.
Negative 9 times 160 is negative.
So this was negative, it changes to a positive, right? So I have 1438. I knew something was off there because I knew it was 1438, not 1442. So that's my remainder. So my answer is this plus 1438 over what? So 3x to the third plus 9x squared plus 29x plus 160 plus 1438 over 3x minus 9. Questions? Okay, one long division problem shouldn't be that ridiculous for the test, right? It's the one problem that's going to take you longer than 2 minutes, right? Okay, synthetic division. What is my box number? How do I get -3 as my box number? Set x plus 3 equal to 0, and when you subtract 3, you get x equals -3 as your box number. My numbers across the top, do I have any placeholders that I need to put in there? 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. No, I do not. So I'm going to put my coefficients. 1, 7, 8, -22, and 50. What do? Bring down the first term. Multiply by the box number. 1 times -3 is -3. 7 minus 3. Multiply by the box number. Add. Multiply by the box number. Add. Multiply by the box number. Add. And we got that. Which one's my remainder? 80. The other thing I need to remember, as these are coefficients, this was a 4th degree. What are my coefficients going to be of? A 3rd degree. I always have to take out 1 degree because I was dividing by 1 degree. So I have 1x to the 3rd plus 4x squared minus 4x minus 10 plus 80 over x plus 3. Any questions there? Don't you just love synthetic division? So much easier. All right, synthetic substitution. How does synthetic substitution work? Well, what's my box number? Why is it not -5?
Because it's already two.
They already got it to this form, right? Do I have any placeholders? 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I don't think I do. So -5, 23, 16, -33, and 17. And I'm using synthetic division, but it says to use synthetic substitution. What's the difference? The answer is just going to be the remainder. It's just going to be that last number. It's not going to be the whole polynomial. So, bring down the -5. 5 times -5 is? That's going to give me -2, -10, 6, 30, -3, -15, and 2. My remainder is 2, therefore my answer is 2. And I can go back and check this problem if I want to. I can do -5 times 2 to the 4th plus 23 times 2 to the 3rd. I should put my parentheses there. To the 3rd plus 16 times 2 squared minus 33 times 2 plus 17, and I should get exactly. That's why we use the synthetic division. That means that I probably typed something in wrong. Sorry. Plus 23 times 2 to the 3rd plus 16 times 2 squared minus 33 times 2 plus 17. I have a feeling that my issue is I need a heck of a lot more parentheses here. Let's see if this does anything. 2 to the 3rd. Anyways, I typed something in wrong. That's going to bother me. I'm going to need to go back and fix that. What's 2 to the 4th? Let's try doing it by hand. 2 to the 4th, 2, 4, 8, 16. So -5 times 16 plus 23 times, what's 2 to the 3rd? 8.
Because you need to go to 5, not 2. Yes?
Oh, that's why.
Yes, that's
Thank you. It's because I'm supposed to be plugging in 5. That's my error. So if I go back, I'm probably fine if I just change all these to 5s. 5. 2 2 is the answer. I'm getting my input and output backwards. There we go. Oh, I feel better. Thank you for fixing me. Okay, so again, that was if you plug in 5, you should get that as your answer. Okay, last one. State if it's a factor. How do I know if it's a factor? If the remainder is 0. So, I do need to show work. So what's my box number?
8.
And again, where do I get that? I set b minus 8 equal to 0. Add 8. And you get b equals 8. Do I have any placeholders that are needed? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. No. Okay. So I have 1, negative 15, 66, negative 71, negative 74, and 22. Bring down a 1. 8 times 1 is 8. Negative 15 and 8 is negative. 8 times negative 7. That's going to give me 10, 80, 9. 8 times 9 is going to give me negative 2. 8 times negative 2 is, and I think I get 6. Is this a factor? No. You can either write no or you can circle no. I may ask you what the remainder is. And if I ask you what the remainder is, I'm looking for the 6. Since I'm probably doing this on the computer, I may ask you for the remainder just to make sure that you're not just guessing yes or no. Since you have a 50-50 chance of getting it right. Okay? Any questions on this? All right. Happy studying.